On some evenings, the air feels normal, kids laugh, parents chat. Life carries on. But every once in a while, an ordinary evening collides with something unforgettable. This is the story of a teenager named Daniel, who discovered what happens when aggression crashes into discipline. And the way it unfolded left an entire park in stunned silence. But what really happened under that oak tree? Daniel wasn't looking for trouble that Saturday in Camden, New Jersey. He sat quietly under a tall oak, dressed neatly in a fitted black suit and polished shoes, waiting for his little brother's soccer practice to finish. A book rested in his hands, and the world around him seemed far away. But the sudden rumble of motorcycles broke the calm, pulling every eye toward the parking lot. Were they just passing through, or here for something else? 5 bikers rolled in, dressed in leather and shadows, scanning the park with intent. Families nearby kept their focus on the game, unaware of what was about to unfold. But Daniel noticed. Their eyes found him and didn't let go. He forced himself to stay calm, flipping another page of his book, but calm doesn't always last when you're being hunted. Would anyone step in before it was too late? One of them, a broad man with a shaved head, started forward, flanked by 2 others. Their boots crunched gravel as they closed the distance. Daniel's pulse quickened, but his expression stayed even, just like his mother taught him. Never let them see you sweat. "What are you doing here, kid?" the man asked, his tone a challenge disguised as a question. "How do you respond when every word feels like a test?" Daniel's voice was steady. "Waiting for my brother." Simple, polite, firm. But his answer only fed their smirks. "Doesn't look like your kind of place," the man pressed. Daniel held his ground. "It's a public park." That's when the circle began to close, their bodies creating a trap under the oak tree. And yet Daniel stayed still, disciplined, unshaken. But how long could discipline hold against intimidation? The leader leaned in close, his shadow swallowing Daniel's calm. "Maybe you should show us what you've got," he sneered. Their laughter was sharp, mocking, meant to cut through confidence. Daniel didn't flinch. Years of karate training had drilled something into him. Fighting is never the first option, it's the last. Still, he could feel it, the moment they wouldn't let him walk away. Was it time to show them who they were really dealing with? Just then, a voice broke through the tension. "Leave him alone." Nathan, Daniel's little brother, had wandered over, sweat still clinging from soccer. His voice was small but brave. The bikers turned, grinning like predators at easier prey. "This your brother?" one asked, pointing at Nathan. "Maybe we should teach you both a lesson." Daniel stood, his stance deliberate, planting his feet the way he'd practiced countless times. "Don't touch him." His tone was calm, edged with steel. Would they back down, or push him past his limit? If you are finding value in this, make sure to like and subscribe for more. Let's continue. The bikers laughed. The crowd at the park hadn't noticed yet, but something dangerous was about to ignite. "You scared, kid?" the leader taunted, raising a hand to shove Daniel. But the moment his arm shot forward, Daniel moved. Quick, precise, trained. He twisted, struck the man's wrist, and turned the aggression back on him. Pain flashed across the biker's face. Daniel's voice cut the air. "I warned you." But would one warning be enough to stop the others? The fight escalated. Another man swung wildly. Daniel ducked and countered with a sharp kick to the knee, sending him crashing down. A third rushed in, but Daniel spun on his heel, delivering a blow to the ribs that dropped him gasping. By now, the crowd had noticed. Phones were up. Parents, kids, teammates, all watching a teenager take on men twice his size with calm precision. But how do you end a fight without becoming what you're fighting against? The leader, red with fury, lunged again, fists flying. Daniel dodged, light on his feet, every movement controlled. He didn't meet aggression with equal rage, he met it with discipline. One final strike to the solar plexus left the man stumbling, breathless. Daniel's voice rose, steady but commanding. "Enough. I don't want to hurt you. Walk away." His words carried farther than his fists, echoing across the park. Would pride let them retreat, or drive them to try again? For a moment, silence hung heavy. Then, With curses muttered under their breath, the bikers limped back to their motorcycles. Engines roared, but before leaving, the leader spat his final words. "This ain't over, kid." The threat lingered as they disappeared into the night. Around Daniel, applause broke out. Not cheers of violence, but respect for courage and composure. Nathan ran to him, wide-eyed. "Daniel, how did you do all that?" But the better question was, what did he learn in the process? On the walk home, Nathan asked the question every little brother would. What if they come back? Daniel's answer was calm. Then we'll handle it. But remember, today wasn't about fighting. It was about standing up. Violence is never the answer, unless it's the only option. His words carried weight, not just for Nathan, but for anyone who's ever faced intimidation. But what does it really mean to choose discipline over fear? When they got home, their mother waited with worried eyes. Daniel told the truth, carefully but honestly. She listened, fear giving way to pride. "I'm proud of you," she said. "But promise me, don't ever take risks like that unless you have no other choice." Daniel nodded. He meant it. Later that night, lying in bed, he replayed the scene. The voices. The fight. The leader's parting words. This ain't over. But was that the end, or just the beginning of a larger test? Daniel wasn't afraid. Fear only has power if you let it. What he carried instead was a quiet sense of purpose. His story isn't about fists. It's about knowing when to stand firm, when to protect, and when to walk away. True strength isn't in size or numbers or aggression. It's in discipline. And Daniel's lesson under that oak tree is one every person should remember. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the choice to do what's right even when fear is present. And maybe that's the lesson those bikers will never forget. If this story struck a chord, like, share, and subscribe for inspiring stories.